Okay, hello and good morning. We're back to factoring trinomials where A, this is called your A, your B, and your C. Notice that the number in front of the variable is your A and your B. Okay? This is where A is greater than 1. In this case, it's 5. So let's work these two. Alright, so what you have to do is multiply the first and the last. So that gives you 60, but a positive times a positive is a positive 60. So you're looking for a combination. A positive and a positive gives you a positive and a positive. That means you add. So you're looking for a combination that's going to add to give you 19. Alright, so let's try it. 1 times 60 adds to give you 61. 2 times 30 adds to give you 32. 3 times 20 adds to give you 23. 4 times 15, that's it. Okay? So what you're going to do now is substitute, in place of the 19n, you're going to substitute this. So you're going to have 5n squared plus 4n plus 15n plus 12. Once you get to this point, here's your 19 right here. 15 plus 4 is 19. So we substitute it. And now we're going to factor out an n. Here we're going to factor out, I guess, a 3. Yeah. So that's going to be 3 here. So that's going to be 5n plus 4. And then this is the same, so you're going to take one of those out, and you're left with n plus 3. And that's how you do it. We're going to try a harder one here. This is actually called a perfect square trinomial. But I didn't teach you that way, so let's try it my way. First of all, can you take a 4 out, or a 2 out, or a 3 out? I don't think so. So we're going to do 4 times 49, which is going to be huge. So I'm going to use my calculator. Make sure you have your calculator out. So 4 times 49, press equals. I get 196. Now look at the signs. A negative and a positive, according to the chart on the wall, gives you 2 minuses. So you're going to add to get 35. Okay, so we're shooting for 35. So let's start breaking this down. Let's just go right down the list. 1 times 196 is going to add to be 197. 2, so divide by 2, and that gives you 98. That adds to give you 100. 3, I don't know that 3 works, so 196 divided by 3. 3 doesn't work. Let's try 4. 196 divided by 4 does work. So 4 times 49, and that adds to give me 53. So we're getting closer. 5 doesn't work because it doesn't end in a 0 or 5. 6, I don't know that 6 works. 3 didn't work, so probably 6. 196 divided by 6. Okay, 6 does not work. Okay, let's try 7. 196 divided by 7 equals, okay, that's probably it, 28. Let's add that up. You get 35. So that's it. That's the answer right there. And we want them both to be negatives, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And when you add these up, you get a negative 35. So put 4x squared and then substitute these two. So minus 7x minus 28x and then plus 49. So here you're going to take an x out. So you're going to be left with 4x minus 7. And then here, I think you take a 7 out. And since this is a negative, make it a negative 7. And it should be the same thing. So let's check that. 7 times 4, 7 times 7. Okay, that looks good. Negative times a negative is a positive. All right, take this out. So you get 4x minus 7. And then you get x minus 7. And that's the answer. Let's see here. Thinking. All right, well, that's it. There it is. And that's how you do it. I was thinking it was a perfect square trinomial, but I don't think it is now. If it was a perfect square trinomial and I didn't teach that to you, these would be the same. So this one is not the same as that one. So that's it. That's how you do it. Today's work, you had the front yesterday, so if you were absent yesterday, the worksheet should be on Canvas. And then here is what we're doing today. So put 2, 1, and they're going to be a little bit harder because the numbers are bigger, but work it the same way. So look here. Do you see how I went in order? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until I got my answer. Okay. So don't skip anything, and I want to see the work. All right, let's turn our attention now to geometry. Okay. Oh, actually, let's see, 5 squared root of 7, that was for geometry. All right, here is geometry. Okay. All right, here we go. I want you to, yesterday, we didn't really do any work. I gave you one problem, I think, out of the book. It's on the homework wall, and I think it's probably on Canvas. Anyway, you have 3 right triangles here. You have the baby, and I always start off with the baby. So the baby triangle looks like this. And I want to see this, okay? So this is y, and this is 16, and this is x. Then number 2 triangle is the medium-sized triangle, and that one looks like this. And that one is x, 84, and z. Okay? And then finally you got the great big triangle, which looks something like this. And this one, you got to add up these two. So 84 plus 16, I think that's 100. So put that down. You have y and you have z. And I think I'm good. And if you remember yesterday on the video, there was one of them that I didn't add it up. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay. All right, so we're going to set up a proportion. We did step 1, 3 right triangles. Now we're doing step 2. We're going to set up a proportion, and then we're going to do Pythagorean's theorem. All right, so look up here and watch. This one has x, and this one has x. So on this one, it's going to be the long leg, x, over the short leg. Okay? That's my pattern, 16. Okay? So here's my x here, okay? And that is now going to be, this is my short leg. So we want to do the short leg here, and the short leg here is x, and the long leg is 84. Okay, I'm assuming this is going to be right here. Let me think about this a minute. That's the short leg, and that's the long leg. Okay, let me set it up where x is the geometric mean. So let me back up on this. So let's do short leg, 16 over the x. So short leg over long leg. So like that, okay? And so here we want the short leg, which is x. I think this is better. Over the long leg, which is 84. Okay, this is better. So we're going to have 16, and I would put the x as the second and third position. First, second, third, fourth. This is called your geo mean, by the way. Write that down. It's a geometric mean. It's an average. Anyway, so 16 times 84 equals x times x is x squared. So x is going to be the square root of whatever that is. So we're going to take our calculator. We're going to take 16 times 84. And when we do, we get 864. And we're going to take the square root. So shift square root. And I get 29.4. Okay? All right, but we're going to use this right here. All right, so wherever x is, we're going to now substitute. So here, I have an x. I could go back to this triangle or this triangle. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go after the little one. So right here, scratch this out and put the square root of 864. Okay? Now color the box. These two hit at the box. You see them? They're crooked. Make an L. If it makes an L, those are the legs. So it's going to be leg squared. So here we go with Pythagorean's theorem. So the square root of 864 squared plus 16 squared equals your hypotenuse squared, which is this one. This cancels. So you get 864 plus 16 times 16, I think, is 256. So clear that out. 16 times 16 equals 256. So we want to do y is equal to the square root of that. So plus 864, press equals, and I get 1120, and then take the square root. So shift, square root. I get 33.5. Okay? All right, so let's keep moving. We've got one more to do. Now that we have y, we're going to find z. So you could technically go to this one or this one. I'm going to go to this one. Y is the square root, scratch that out, the square root of 1120. Now remember the ones that make the L. See that L shape? Okay? So it's this and this are your legs. So it's going to be z squared plus the square root of 1120 squared is equal to z squared. So this cancels. So that gives me 1120. Okay? And this one right here should have been 100 squared. Change that. So that equals, let me see, z squared plus that is equal to 100 squared. Well, 100 squared, let's see what that is. 100 times 100. I think it's just 4 zeros, and it is. So put a 1 with 4 zeros. Now subtract 1120 and then take the square root. So z is equal to, so minus 1120, press equals, and then shift, let's write that down, 8880, and then shift square root. I get 94.2. So on your test this week, probably over the weekend, you're going to have 3 answers, x, y, and z. And I want the decimal representation. So x is right here, so put 29.4. Y is 33.5. And z is 94.2. That's what I want on the test. And that's what we're doing today. So today, you're going to be doing a worksheet A, and we'll get to that in a second, and I'll give you your worksheet in a minute, but I've got to show you something here. So write this down on a new sheet of paper. Put 5 square root of 7. Write that down. Now, when you do your work today, you got to know if this answer matches your answer. And here's how you do it. So you clear your calculator, you press 7, shift, square root. So 7, shift, square root, and then times 5. And so that equals 13.2. So times 5 equals 13.2. So if you got 13.2, you're correct. Now if you want to see it a different way, as opposed to a decimal, you would put the 5 back in. But to put the 5 back in, you'd have to square it. So it'd be 5 squared. So 5 squared is 25, and then times 7. So really what it is the square root of 175. Let's check that. So let's hit shift, square root, and see if we get this. And we do. Okay, so they're the same. So if you want to write it, all right, so the answer today might be written like this. And I showed you before how to work it like this. I'm not going to show you again right now. But if you want to, you can go to YouTube and look up extracting perfect roots. But to put it back in, you got to square it, which I did. Or if you want to use your calculator, you would do the square root of 7 times 5. All right, I hope this helps you. Here's your worksheet for today. And notice, they only want you to find what they want you to find, okay? In other words, you don't have to find X, Y, and Z. Only find what they want you to find. And the answers are there, okay? So you're going to do it the same way, and I want to see it the same way. So you're going to draw 3 right triangles. So draw 3 right triangles, and then try to set up some kind of proportion. Copy this down. And then if you have to, use Pythagorean. Okay? So for each one of these, break it up. And if you get stuck, if you don't get the answer, let me know. Like this answer, you would do the square root of 5 times 7. All right, have a good morning. Let me just run this out just in case you don't have the worksheet. And there it is. All right, good luck.